All right, NASCAR fans, William Byron is heading back to a track that treated him really well last year, but this season has looked a whole lot different. Can Iowa Speedway flip the script for him? Let's break down everything going on this weekend. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation news is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about real talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with William Byron. He is back at Iowa Speedway, the same track where he won last year's NASCAR Cup Series race. Byron himself said there could be a good feeling when a driver returns to a track where he's had recent success. But, he was quick to keep expectations in check. Byron said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that you don't walk in assuming things will go great just because of what happened last year. He did admit, though, that maybe you drive in feeling a little better about the place. Now here's where it gets interesting. Byron will start Sunday's race from 19th in what is a 350 lap event. As for where he stands this season standings, Byron is currently ranked 12th, sitting on 568 points. He's picked up 4 top 5 finishes and 9 top 10s so far this year. But let's talk about the win drought, because this is a big part of the story. Byron's win last season at Iowa came after he opened the year by winning the Daytona 500. After that, he didn't win again until Iowa. A stretch of 21 races without a victory. Now he's in the middle of an even longer drought, 22 races without a win, dating all the way back to his victory at Martinsville in the next to last race of last season. That's a long stretch for a driver of Byron's caliber, and it clearly shows in how he talked about his season. When asked to describe how his season has gone, Byron actually paused before answering. He said it's just kind of been under how the team wanted to perform. He pointed to the new car as a learning curve, saying the team is still trying to get a handle on it and figure it all out. You know, that's a pretty honest answer from a guy who's used to running up front. Now let's talk about how Byron actually wanted Iowa last season, because it's a good story. It came down to fuel strategy. Byron stretched his final tank of gas and ended up leading the final 74 laps of the race. In his own words, it just worked out that it came down to fuel mileage, and he had a pretty good car underneath him, and Iowa has actually been a strong track for Byron across multiple series. He's got 3 total wins there, an O'Reilly Auto Parts Series win back in 2017 and a Truck Series win in 2016. On top of that, he finished second in the very first Cup Series race at Iowa back in 2024. Byron summed it up simply. He said it sure seems like it's been a good track for him over the years. Now let's shift over to the points leader, Denny Hamlin, because his story at Iowa is the complete opposite of Byron's. Hamlin has struggled at this track. In the first 2 Cup Series races held at Iowa, he finished 24th, both times. And unfortunately for him, those struggles carried right into this weekend. During Saturday's practice and qualifying, Hamlin dealt with brake issues. He only got 24 practice laps in and then qualified 29th in the afternoon session. And it wasn't just Hamlin, his Joe Gibbs racing teammate Chase Briscoe also had brake issues of his own. Hamlin did share some thoughts on how the car felt early on. He said the first 5 laps went out fine. Everything was checking out okay. He felt the car had decent speed and good balance. Certainly better than what they've had at this track in the past. But he said the unfortunate part was simply not getting more practice time in. Now here's a big piece of news for the future of this track. Iowa Speedway is set to undergo a complete repaving before next season's race. And according to the drivers, this is something that's been a long time coming. Ryan Preece talked about the mixed feelings drivers have about a repave. He said, part of you as a racer questions why you'd repave somewhere at all, but he also acknowledged you can see the separation happening in some of the lanes and that it clearly needs to work. As for the actual project, it's happening at the 875-mile track, and it's scheduled to begin next week. The plan is to have it finished by late fall. Next season's race at Iowa is already scheduled for July 4th. It's worth noting this isn't the track's first repave. Parts of Iowa Speedway were already repaved before the inaugural Cup Series race back in 2024, specifically in the bottom groove of the turns. Ryan Blaney, who actually won that 2024 race, shared his hopes for this new repave. He said he really hopes they bank up the 3rd and 4th lanes because he believes that could make it a great racetrack. One that isn't just locked into the bottom groove with new pavement. As Blaney put it, time will tell. And finally, there's a rules change happening starting with Sunday's race. A new stage break procedure. Here's how it works. If a caution flag comes out with 10 or fewer laps remaining in a stage, that stage will be considered complete. The caution period itself will serve as the scheduled stage break. When the field returns to the start-finish line, the leader will receive both the green and white checkered flag and the yellow flag together. The whole point of this change is to cut down the amount of time drivers spend under caution at the end of a stage. Blaney explained the thinking behind it pretty well. He said if a caution comes out 4 or 5 laps before a stage ends, and everyone knows they're not going to restart it right around there, that just means double the time under caution. And he said plainly, that's no fun for anybody, including the fans watching at home and the drivers stuck cruising around under yellow. So to recap, William Byron is chasing a repeat win at a track that's clearly been kind to him despite a 22-race winless stretch. Denny Hamlin is fighting brake issues and a rough history at Iowa. The track itself is getting a full repave after this season, and a brand new stage break rule debuts this Sunday. So here's my question for you guys. Do you think Byron's past success at Iowa gives him a real edge this weekend, or does this new car change everything? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around here at NASCAR Nation News for more coverage all season long.